Welcome to the audiobook of The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. After this, you've done everything right, worked hard, saved diligently, even made a few smart investments. Yet, there's still this lingering fear, this voice inside that says, is it enough? Or, what if I lose it all? We've all felt it, that quiet anxiety about money. And oddly enough, it's not always about having too little, sometimes, it's the uncertainty that comes after you have enough that really rattles us. What Morgan Housel does in The Psychology of Money is extraordinary. He doesn't just break down financial logic, he uncovers our emotional truths. Through timeless stories, personal anecdotes, and powerful metaphors, he shows us that money is never just about dollars and cents. It's about behavior, mindset, fear, love, and sometimes, ego. So if you've ever wondered why smart people make bad money choices, why we chase more than we need, or why money feels so personal, this is the journey you've been waiting for. Let's explore the psychology of money, where the real wealth lies not in your bank account, but in the stories you tell yourself about it. 1. No one's crazy. Everyone has their own version of what makes sense when it comes to money. What feels reckless to one person might feel cautious to someone else. And that's not just because of logic, it's because of life experiences. If you grew up watching your parents struggle to pay rent, your relationship with saving will differ from someone who never had to think about bills. Morgan reminds us that these emotional blueprints are often invisible, yet they shape every financial decision we make. From how we view debt, to our appetite for risk, to how we define success, it's all deeply personal. So, when we judge others for their spending, investing, or saving habits, we're usually overlooking one critical truth: their experiences are not ours. No one's crazy, we're just shaped by different storms. Empathy in financial conversations matters. Understanding others' backgrounds leads to better, more human conversations about money. Luck and risk. Morgan tells the story of Bill Gates and Paul Allen, two computer whizzes who had access to a high school computer in the 1970s, when such technology was rare. That access? A stroke of luck. Gates even admitted that if he hadn't attended that particular school, Microsoft might never have existed. Now, contrast that with stories of equally talented people who never made it simply because of timing, illness, tragedy, or being born in a different zip code. We love to attribute success to genius and failure to mistakes, but Housel urges us to see the role of luck and risk more clearly. One's path to wealth isn't always repeatable, and outcomes don't always align with effort. Risk is the twin of luck. It's the possibility that, no matter how well you play, the game doesn't go your way. Big lesson: don't blindly imitate successful people. Consider the hidden variables in every story, especially the ones they didn't control. Third, never enough. There's a chilling story in this chapter about a man with incredible wealth who still committed financial fraud. Why? Because even with millions, it wasn't enough. That's the toxic nature of comparison and unchecked ambition. Social media, news, and even casual conversations often create a skewed reality of what enough looks like. We're subtly trained to believe that contentment is for the complacent, and that ambition should always stretch further. But Morgan flips that on its head. He shows that true wealth is learning to say, I have enough. Because the alternative? It's a hamster wheel of stress, insecurity, and regret. He encourages readers to define their own version of enough, not based on someone else's lifestyle, but on their own values, goals, and peace of mind. Realization: freedom and joy often come not from gaining more, but from recognizing when you already have what you need. Fourth, confounding compounding. The real power of compounding isn't in the math, it's in the time. Housel reveals that Warren Buffett made over 90% of his fortune after the age of 50. That's not because he changed strategies, it's because he stayed consistent for decades. But the human brain struggles to grasp exponential growth. We're used to linear rewards: work hard, get results. Compounding doesn't work like that. It's slow, almost boring at first, until it suddenly explodes. That's why many people sabotage their own financial futures. They quit too early, switch paths too often, or expect fast results. Compounding isn't just about money, it's about patience. Staying the course when it feels like nothing's happening. Timeless truth: small, smart decisions repeated over time are more powerful than one-time windfalls. 5. Getting wealthy via staying wealthy. Making money requires risk, boldness, and belief in yourself. But keeping money?
That's a whole different game, one that's won with humility, frugality, and fear of losing it. Housel gives us the example of people who make millions quickly, and then lose it all chasing higher returns or living beyond their means. Staying wealthy is about survival. It's about longevity. He argues that traits like paranoia, the constant awareness that things can go wrong, aren't signs of weakness. They're tools of preservation. It's not about avoiding risk completely. It's about respecting it, preparing for it, and not letting success blind you to its presence. Crucial mindset shift. The key to long-term wealth isn't brilliance, it's discipline and humility. 6. Tails, you win. In the world of money, a few big events account for most of the success. This is what Morgan calls the tail events. For example, a single investment in Amazon could have compensated for 10 bad ones. But most people don't stay long enough to see their tail event pay off. We tend to panic after one failure and pull out. But Morgan's message is clear. Big wins are rare, and they often come after a series of small, quiet steps. Success in life and finance doesn't come from constant victory. It comes from consistency, resilience, and staying in the game long enough for your lucky break to arrive. Strategic truth. Be ready for failure, and stay invested in the possibility of a win. 7th. Freedom. This chapter might be the most emotionally resonant. Housel shares that the ultimate form of wealth isn't luxury, it's control over your time. Imagine waking up each day and deciding how you'll spend your time, without needing anyone's permission. That's real wealth, and for most people, that matters more than owning a sports car or a mansion. Money isn't always about more, it's about choice. About not having to say yes to a toxic boss. About spending time with your kids. About pursuing what makes you feel alive. Emotional anchor. Wealth is having the freedom to choose your life. 8. Man in the car paradox. Ever see someone in a luxury car and think, wow, they've made it? But here's what Morgan found. People don't actually admire the driver, they admire the car. And that admiration doesn't transfer. People spend fortunes to look impressive. But ironically, the attention they're trying to get rarely lands where they want it. Wealth isn't about showing off. It's about peace, impact, and living life on your terms. This chapter teaches that if you're trying to buy respect or admiration, you're probably spending for the wrong reasons. Core reflection. True respect is earned by who you are, not by what you wear, drive, or post. 9. You're not alone. We are deeply influenced by others when it comes to money. Friends, influencers, neighbors, even strangers online can make us feel behind or unworthy. But Housel reminds us that everyone is playing a different game. Someone day trading might not care about long-term returns. Someone saving aggressively may be planning for early retirement. Their moves aren't meant for your board. Comparison is the thief of joy, and often, the killer of smart financial decisions. Psychological insight. Build your financial strategy around your life, not someone else's highlight reel. 10. Reasonable, rational. Perfection isn't sustainable, and sometimes, being rational can be paralyzing. Housel says it's okay to be reasonable instead. That means making decisions you can stick with emotionally, even if they're not mathematically perfect. For instance, paying off a low-interest loan early might not be logical, but if it gives you peace of mind, do it. Long-term success in finance isn't about spreadsheets, it's about what keeps you consistent. Human truth. Emotionally tolerable beats intellectually perfect, every time. The psychology of money doesn't give you a get-rich-quick plan. Instead, it gives you wisdom, awareness, grace. It reminds you that being rich is a number, but being wealthy is a feeling. A mindset, a story you tell yourself every day. Money is emotional, it's personal, and that's okay. So, ask yourself, are you chasing more, or building enough? Are you playing your game, or someone else's? And are you using money to buy things, or to build the life you truly want?